Hey everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. I've got the camera in my hand today, so excuse me. I've been asked many times how I got my start with polymer clay, and about 10 years ago I started making mermaids and fairies. So I thought I'd just come by today and show you one of my mermaids, one of my fairies. Oh my gosh. This one is called the Sentry. And I'm not going to be able to move her around very much. But I'll try to give you a look from all the sides. As I resist wanting to turn her around. Alright. Now, I don't claim to be a sculptor of faces, because that's my difficult part. They always come out very chiseled looking. Alright. I can show you that she comes off the stand. Alright. And that her crown came off because it's not attached. Alright. Alright, now the first one that I showed you was the second one that I did. And the only reason I didn't show you the first one is because, weirdly enough, we actually have earthquakes here in Texas from time to time. And the first time we had one, 2 of them took a tumble off my top shelf. And the first one was one of them. So he's in multiple pieces up on the top shelf. So this one is called Amarillo and the Pillar. Not really much to show on this one, but she also is not attached to the pillar and can be removed. Sorry for the boob shot. Okay. The pillar itself is just formed around a cardboard tube, and I wouldn't really recommend that unless you're going to leave the bottom open or something, because moisture is trapped in the cardboard, so it will make the pillar split, although for this purpose it worked out alright. Okay. Okay, this piece is called the Warrior. And this piece, when I when I took it over to my mom's and I left it there for a few days, she didn't realize that the Warrior itself is not attached to the stand. So he took a tumble and broke both his arms off. But I repaired him. Alright, he's got a warrior's net, a war net. Now he's not attached to the stand. Sorry about that, I changed my battery. He's not attached to the stand, but the seahorse is. So I can actually move him. And just show you the seahorse. And I'm sorry it's black. And I didn't make his reins yet. I'll show you the profile view. And yes, it has sparkly glitter. And it's only attached to the stand by a peg. One peg. It's because of the armature that's inside. And this was the fourth piece that I made. Alright. Turn him back around. Replace the warrior. And all of his hair, all of their hair, is all hand dyed. Okay. There's his tail back there. Alright. Alright, this one's just called The Stranger. She's got her hands folded behind her back. These are just made from liquid Sculpey and acrylic paint. Green tinted liquid Sculpey and then painted with acrylic paint after they're baked. Try to get you a little shot of it. All her scales. And this one is a little bug-eyed. So keep in mind this was 10 years ago, so if you're gonna comment, make it nice. Not the greatest sculptor in the world. I did enjoy it, but it's a lot of work. And I don't mean a lot of work as in the details and yada yada, because I don't mind that stuff, but it's a lot of work in the sculpting. Alright. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited to show you this one because this was the first one I ever did. And this is the one that took the tumble. And I just now found his hand. It's been missing for years. I thought it had gone down behind the cabinet that the shelf is on top of. But it hadn't. It had somehow made its way down the shelf. So, This one is called the Net Mender. And yes, he's on a tree of coral. And that was difficult to do, and one of the things that shattered when it fell. So I absolutely love him. Probably just because it was the first one I did, but a close up on his scale detail. Now he has webbed hands and fins on the back of his arms as well. And his little dagger comes out of his sheath. And oh, I'm so excited that I found it. I know it sounds silly, but he's been laying up there on the shelf where I couldn't even see him for years, so. Alright. Alright, on this one, I love the stand. It's one of those trunks from Michael's. And I handmade all the treasure. There's some sea fans and some other corals. But when you do these, if you're going to mix the clay for the mermaid, make sure you mix enough, because that's what I did, was I didn't mix enough clay, and so she turned out really, really skinny. Alright, the treasure lid will close. There's just a coral behind it that keeps it from falling back when it's open. Alright. Let me get you a good close-up of the treasure. And only the bottom layer is glued down. There is a piece of wood underneath the treasure so that it's only this deep. And her hands have the rods in them that are attached to the armature that go down behind that wood piece. I don't know if I can get you a close-up of her tail. Kind of. It's been painted and scaled and... I'm sorry. As you can see, her chest is very thin, and that's because I ran out of clay. And so when I ran out of clay, I kind of gave up and it didn't work on her face very much anymore. Alright. But I love the treasure. Okay, this was the final piece that I did. And it's King Neptune. With the prow of a wrecked ship. Let's see if I can get in close for some. As you can see, his scales are all far apart and sparse because he's old. And his fins are all tattered. Barnacles on the ship. And this little guy is not attached. I'm going to see if I can turn it. Get a better view of his face and his crown. Sorry for the scritchy noise. It's from the sand. Ugh. And it's horrible. And there's the rest of his tail fin. The prow of the ship. Which is also just standing on a peg. Ew. Some more seaweed. Shadow detail on the wood of the ship. From a different angle. I skipped the scritchiness. Alright. Okay, I have one more I may show. I may not. Alright, this is the other one that took the tumble in the earthquake. And she broke into quite a few pieces. As you can see, her fingers are missing on her hand right there. So I had to glue the ball in her hand, and the painting on her arm and on her legs is because of the fractures. And she's supposed to be a winter fairy. And she's dancing on a snowball. And one of the things I can tell you about using texture like this on polymer clay is it gets dusty and it's hard to clean. Just from the back, show her wings. And her wings originally were not fixed. They weren't glued on, but now they are because of the tumble. Show her little tattoo. Her little spirals on her legs and her arms. I love her corset. Anyway, she's supposed to be old. She's supposed to look old because she's a winter fairy, not a spring fairy. So, her blue frosty lips. Alright. Alright, that is it. This is how I got my start with polymer clay. And although I enjoyed doing these, I do enjoy the jewelry much more. So, if you have any questions, I can't say I could answer them, but I can try. And I probably won't do any tutorials on any of this. I do have a piece that was in production, so to speak, when I quit doing them, but I don't know that I would finish it. I may. And this is the only fairy that I would be willing to show you. I have several more mermaids and fairies, and no. Alright. So, I shall holler at y'all later. Bye now.